Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio on a Tuesday morning. Obviously, the guys got a chance to play a lot of primetime basketball Thursday through Sunday, pretty much. So the women got to take the spotlight last night. How'd their NCAA tournament go?
The women's tournament, of course, is scheduled differently from the men for television purposes, and they go Friday through Monday. So last night was the second round of really what's the opening set. There were some close games, but were there really any surprises? Not really. Two number one seeds, Texas and Southern Cal, both played last night. Texas, a 65-48 winner over Illinois. And Southern Cal walloped Mississippi State 96-59, but it may have been a Pyrrhic victory because their star player, All-America Juju Watkins, went down and out for the rest of the season with a knee injury. Now, keep in mind, Southern Cal's still pretty doggone good, but to lose your star player, your catalyst, we'll see how that affects the ball club. Now, the number 2 seeds, North Carolina State was a winner. Number 3, Oklahoma, North Carolina, LSU all won. Maryland, a double overtime winner over Alabama, 111-108. And how about Connecticut? They're a number 2 seed. Why, I don't know, because they're pretty good. They beat South Dakota State last night by a surprisingly wide margin. Why do I say surprise? Because South Dakota State's pretty good, folks. And Connecticut beat them 91-57 last night in Stores, Connecticut. So now the teams in that particular region go to Spokane, Washington, and that competition's coming up later this week. I think Connecticut plays on a Friday night, if I'm not mistaken. Southern Cal may as well. But this is all getting down now to the round of Sweet 16 as the men are in their competition.
And again, my bracket is busted. How's yours doing? You do okay? You doing all right?
I'm probably about 60 or 70%, 60-65%, somewhere around there.
Pretty much the median right now. We are 2 days away from the start of Major League Baseball, baby.
So which is the first game? Which one will decorate the calendars as the first game of the season? Well, by a few minutes, it's the Yankees and the Brewers in New York. And then approximately 2 minutes later, the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles tangle in Toronto. So it's a matter of semantics more than anything else. So the Cardinals-Twins game and the Royals-Guardians clash begin within 5 minutes of each other, right around 3:10, 3:15. So indeed, we have baseball starting, and that is on Thursday. That's the opening for all of the major league teams.
Yeah, and again, I think we need to make that a day off for everyone, because definitely have some baseball watching, at least on one day a year. All right, last night, Cardinals, Royals have broken camp. They're kind of on their tour home, if you were. How'd they both do?
Well, the Royals played the Texas Rangers down at Arlington Globe Life Stadium, which is the Texas Rangers' home ballpark. And the Rangers came from behind and won the game 6-3. That was Texas over Kansas City. Now, the Cardinals played a game at AutoZone Park in Memphis last night against the Memphis Redbirds. I wish the big club would come down here again. It's been a number of years since they played here in Springfield, but nonetheless, played the Memphis Redbirds with all of the runs coming in the first inning. Cardinals beat Memphis 3-2, all scoring first inning. From there on in, it was blanks. Okay, that's it. The Cardinals will not play again until Thursday. The Royals and the Texas Rangers will play again this afternoon, and then a day off tomorrow. Then it's on to the opening of the season.
Always an exciting time, and everything happening all at once, my friend. Called a basketball coach's merry-go-round. But that's pretty much what happens this time of the year.
It does, because the seasons are over now, and while these agreements were probably reached before the season ended, it still all seems to happen on one day. Here is Drake, and they were knocked out of the competition. Ben McCollum, at Drake only 1 year, came over from Northwest Missouri State at Maryville, took the Drake team to a second-round game in the NCAA, was beaten there by Texas Tech. He's the new coach at Iowa. So it is Ben McCollum moving on from Drake to Iowa. Sean Miller, who had been at Xavier in Cincinnati, Ohio for a number of years, is now the new head coach at Texas. Miller's been around. He's been at several coaching posts, so he'll take over the Texas Longhorns job. And Niko Medvedev, who had a very good team at Colorado State, well, he apparently reached the pinnacle of what he could do with the Colorado State Rams. They were knocked out of it Sunday. He is leaving Fort Collins, Colorado for Minneapolis and take over the Minnesota Vikings, the Minnesota Golden Gophers job. So Niko Medvedev will be at Minnesota. And there could be more before all this is over. It's a revolving door as far as coaches are concerned, and they're making some pretty good money.
Definitely are, and just having to buy and sell homes right now, which is probably not a bad thing. Speaking of bad news, after the season the Missouri State Bears had, you would think that it would be a learning thing for most of these kids to have to go through that, to have to face adversity, work together as a team, but then we've got this thing called the transfer portal that's going to screw all of that up.
Well, they look at it as 18, 19, and 20-year-olders and not as necessarily mature individuals. So far, there have been 3 Bears who have declared for the transfer portal. There could be more. Des White, one of the top scorers on the team, he declared, as did Mekhi Valentine, who was a transfer up here from the school down in Branson, Link Year Academy. And most recently, as of yesterday, Jalen Hampton, who I thought was a pretty good ball player from St. Louis, a junior college transfer, he has decided to declare for the transfer portal as well. Again, there could be more. That portal's open for a relatively short time, but this is the time you've got to make that declaration. You cannot do it after the deadline. So we'll see. So far, 3 Bears gone, and who knows, could there be more?
Not a good feeling when you want to build towards the future. Who is likely to get the starting call for the Cardinals on Thursday?
Well, they're probably going to go with Sonny Gray. He is the veteran ace. He's about 35 years old now. Sonny, All-American in his college days at Vanderbilt, and has been a consistent winner in Major League Baseball now. In spring training, he hasn't had a good spring training at all with the Cardinals. He's been hit around pretty good. But he'll get the start. He is the weazened veteran on the Cardinals pitching staff, and he'll be opposed by Minnesota's Pablo Lopez, who is a very good pitcher. But we'll see what happens. Cardinals and the Minnesota Twins, they open it up, and the Royals take on the Cleveland Guardians. All that on Thursday.
Exciting time, Ned. Are you going to take the day off?
Should.
Yeah, you should. Wish. Either way, I'll see you tomorrow.